Hello, good afternoon, traders. This is Baha Pips. It's currently 2:20 p.m. Eastern China Time, Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. It is the first day of the month. And today I'm going to be doing a live demonstration of a trade in front of you all. So, for those of you that are not familiar with my weekly technical breakdowns, I had one earlier in the week. I had actually created one yesterday and it received very little views. But like I said from before, I don't really care about the view count. I do care about the fact that the people that are viewing actually take note because you might be a student of mine. So, once again, this video, take note. Win or loss, I would like you to follow up on this trade. It's very helpful if you are learning how to trade. And even if you know how to trade, this could confirm some viewpoints as well. Now, I'm going to get ready to take a swing trade. It's the end of Asia session, and we are going to overlap. We have overlap with the German session. London Open is going to begin in the next 40 minutes. And I want to get a nice swing trade in before London Open, because that's when the volatility picks up, and I don't take any swing trades after that. So right now, it's the very end of the Asian session. Ideal time to find some great entries, and that's exactly what I'm going to do right now in front of you. Right now, we're looking at the economic calendar, and as you can see, August 1st is right here, and we are just scrolling through, and I'm going to look for some high impact news in the US dollar. There's ISM manufacturing. That's a high impact news, but it's not a catalyst market moving catalyst. Tomorrow, there's New Zealand unemployment rate. Once again, nothing huge. So I look at the next 7 days just so I can see what's going to happen in the end of the week. Because if we do have interest rates, which is in the UK right here, that could interrupt my trading plan. So we have one in about 2 days. So that's going to be basically a point where I'm going to be trailing my stop losses pretty aggressively right before that. And then there's non-farm as well. So hopefully we get some great movement before that. Other than that, I don't really see anything up until Friday. So I think I have a clear move for the day. So now I'm going to go onto the charts and look for some potential setups. All right, so here I am at the charts. This is my broker that I'm currently using for this. And if you watch my weekly technical breakdown, you can understand exactly what I'm about to do. But if you did not watch my weekly technical breakdown, I highly recommend watching that, as this could be a little bit confusing if you don't know my type of trading already. I trade pullbacks, I trade breakouts, I trade range bound trending markets. I trade everything I see except for congestions. Congestions are when price ranges up in too tight of a space for me to take any quality trades. In this case, it's a 4-hour time frame, and we have about a 500 pip range. That's actually pretty solid if and only if we have a strong enough pullback to the downside. I would look for the lows of right here, which trend line is drawn, 140.558 for a potential short setup. But until that happens, I do perceive this market as being bullish. Now, there's no huge US news until non-farm, and I believe that non-farm is going to create some sort of major movement that the market is going to have. And we have some highs right here, June highs, July highs, around 145, 161. So what I believe is going to happen is price could continue this uptrend that we're currently on. I'm going to mark that on up with this trend line that you can see. So we did have an uptrend that did break and failed, unfortunately, right here. It was in the middle of July. And we did have a downtrend that started, which was short-lived. That downtrend was then followed by another uptrend that just newly emerged and broke out of that range that I marked off. As you can see, the range happened because we had 3 waves of equal or similar size. This was a major wave right here, so I wouldn't consider that equal size. We did break out, we did pull back, and so these are all similar. It's not really a crazy range. More or less, I did like to mark it off as a potential area of conflict. Now, if we had gotten a signal within this area of conflict, I was not interested in taking along. but we did have a follow through followed by a pullback and a nice possible continuation to the upside. So I could take a 3-to-1 trade on this. And if I was risking 80 pips, I'd be going for about 240 pips, which is ideally right at the highs of this downtrend right here. So for me, it could be a valid setup, and I would like to take that trade. But before I do that, I want to check out on the other JPY pairs just to see if I find a better setup, because there can always be a better setup. For example, if you look at GJ, there's also a great setup right here, and you can also go for a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1. But you see, it's barely hitting that high, and it's going to be right outside of that. So I would like to use the USD JPY as a better ideal setup. But this did break outside of the range. We're just at the lower end of the other one. As we can see, we're in a couple of ranges here. We have this range right here. It broke down. Price stand range 3 times right here, 4 times, 4 waves, and then it had a false breakout, pulled back, and a nice post pop on up. This setup is also very great because it kind of does show that, there's a solid, there's like a 1.5 to 1, 2 to 1 if you do try to aim right outside the range of that. But for me, it's a little bit too tight, too close to those highs. And I just don't really like that. So personally, I'm going to leave that one alone as well. But CADJPY, it's doing something similar. The pullback is not really that strong. And as you can see, the price is actually going against that initial pullback. So for me, I would need to see price break above this range at 108.271 before I consider going long. And if I were to look for anything, I need to find something ideal for my style. So we also have Eurjpy, which also has been doing the same thing. Now let's take a look at Eurjpy as it is an interesting one. Let's zoom out just for a minute. The Eurjpy, we do have some highs right above. We do have a nice continuation pattern to the north side of this range. 56, and if you're going for about 120, you could get a little bit over 2-to-1 on this trade. It does show everything pretty valid. I do like this trade. I do like this potential long setup. There's nothing horrible about Eurjpy. There's no GBP. There's no Euro high impact news within the next couple of days. There's also no JPY news in the next couple of days. So this could actually be a nice pair to potentially trade. We had a false breakout as well, and I'm going to mark that on up right here. We have some lows right here. Price attempted to break down below those lows, and it failed. And we also had price stalled out at these highs right above. So what that's telling me is that with a solid 2-to-1, because I look for at least 2-to-1 trades, you could ideally have a 50 pip stop loss for. This is a 3-to-1 right here. So this is not a bad setup. And out of all the JPYs, like I said, I do like this one most because it's showing everything that I'm looking for. Only problem is that the 4-hour is just a little bit strong for my stop loss. So I'm going to aim with a smaller stop loss, as y'all can see right here. Now, right now, the 5-minute time frame is currently failing. So I would not want to take a trade just right now. But I'm going to look to place some buy stop orders on this pair. The buy stop order is going to be based off of the current price action. As we can see, there is an uptrend that is currently failing. I'm going to mark that one off right here so y'all can. So this uptrend is currently failing, but price is attempting to break and to possibly either break that trend line or bounce from that trend line. So if I could see a bounce from this trend line and a break above the most recent swing highs, which I'm going to mark off right here, I may be interested in a trade setup off this time frame. But like I said, I'm looking for a break above these highs, and then I can have my stop loss right below the lows because I like to use a wider spectrum. I like to just confirm that I'm in that trade. So my stop loss right here is going to be at the lower end. So this is going to be approximately 40 pips stop loss. If I wanted to take that 40 pips stop loss, and I can go for a 3-to-1 trade if this works out. I don't want to go for something too quick, too soon, but this could also, I would need price to break above these highs. So let's just place the order right now. Why not, right? So 40 pip stop loss. Let's try a 10 lot just to see. I need to risk 1% of my account on this trade. So buy stop, and I do a 10 lot. My stop loss is going to be right below those lows. Just to avoid any false moves against me, I want to confirm that I'm doing this right. 156.55. Right? And I'm going to assess this just to make sure it's under 1%. Way too much. It's almost 4%. Okay, so definitely not taking order. And we're going to reduce this by 4. So 2.5. Let's try that. I always like to place my limit and stop orders away from price action because I have time to actually adjust my order. I don't ever really go on the market orders unless I'm trading off the daily. And here we go. I mean, trading off for the 1 minute. Here we go. 967. That's about my risk. And yeah, everything was good because we do have a little conflict right now. That's why I like getting into the end of Asia session. The price did attempt to break on up, as we can see. And we have a solid uptrend that started to work out, but then we had sellers come and take it down. And this could be a false breakout to the south side, but I'm not too sure about that. So I don't want to go for a DP because I would go for a DP, all right, if price does reach 156.884. But because we already had that uptrend, we had an A, B, C, D point. And to me, that's the start of an uptrend. And it failed. It was a 22 pip uptrend. It failed. So if you did enter right here, say, your stop loss anyways would have been down here. If you entered right here, your stop loss would have been down here. So you would have already been stopped out prematurely. And that is giving me some red flags. Personally, if I were to go long right here, based off of maybe the past 30 minutes, my stop loss would still be below here. So just giving y'all a heads up, I would still be in this trade, but I would be in drawdown, and that's not good. So tracking back and seeing where I would have been, I want to just trade around that and it's kind of like another intuitive approach. Once you get advanced with your strategy, you could trade like this. So for me personally, this is a great setup. It may or may not work out, and if it doesn't, that just signals that we're going to go out to that 4-hour. This current breakout that we're experiencing is not strong enough. And that's totally fine because I will be ready to take a potential short if we can break below 154.9. At the same time, this is going to be in a conflicting range because we're going to have 1, 2, 3 waves of the same similar size. And to me, it's just sells is just a little iffy as well. You could short it, but on a smaller time frame. Based off the 4-hour, I just be in no man's land, and I just would probably look at a different pair because we can go both down and up, and I don't like that. So as of right now, I'm signaled to go long. I'm gonna stick with that bias, and I'm just gonna wait until further confirmation. And that's it for this trade setup. I'm gonna take my profit right outside around 158.144. That's gonna give me at least a 2-to-1. As you can see, I'm placing that right now. This is gonna give me at least a 2-to-1 ratio, and it's 1800, so I'm risking 900 to get 1800. That's about 2 to 1. And that's probably the highest I'll probably aim for right now. So at least y'all able to see my setup. And let's just watch it possibly play out. I'm going to upload this on my YouTube so everyone can see me taking the trade before and after, and you can follow up and be my judge. Y'all have a great day and safe trading.